The crash still plays in my mind like a record I can't stop. The shriek of metal, the snap of plastic, and then, my daughter's terrified cry, sharp enough to tear the air apart. And over it all, my sister Clara's voice, dripping with venom. Maybe now she'll learn her place. She stood there smug, the hammer still dangling at her side as if she'd just won a prize. My little Emily sat on the ground, her eyes wide with shock, tears streaking down her cheeks as she stared at the mangled remains of the bicycle I'd bought her. And then came my mother, Evelyn, arms folded, a curl of satisfaction on her lips. "You shouldn't have given it to her," she muttered. "You make her soft." Something in me froze solid. But I didn't yell. I didn't even step forward. Instead, I smiled. Because in that moment, I understood, they thought they'd broken us. But they had only given me exactly what I needed. It wasn't always this way. When I was younger, I wanted Clara's approval so badly I would have done anything for it. We used to swap clothes, share secrets, whisper about the future. I mistook her jealousy for teasing. I mistook my mother's silence for neutrality. But the truth became harder to ignore. Every win in my life was twisted into a failure. Every milestone was dismissed or mocked. When I bought Emily that bike, it wasn't just a toy. It was freedom. A gift of independence I never had. Deep down, I knew they would hate it. But even I didn't expect Clara to bring out a hammer. That wasn't about a bicycle. That was about power. And my child became collateral in their war against me. I bent down, brushed Emily's hair away from her wet cheeks, and whispered so only she could hear. "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy's got this." Then I stood, turned toward them, and let my smile stretch wider. "You've just given me proof." The color drained from Clara's face. Even Evelyn's arms dropped from their proud fold. For the first time, they looked uncertain. What they didn't know was that I had been preparing for months. Hidden cameras in the corners of the house. Quiet recordings of every snide comment, every shove, every scheme whispered against me and my daughter. They believed their cruelty was invisible. They believed no one would ever believe me. They were wrong. That night, I didn't dial the police. That would have been too loud, too simple. No, I wanted them to unravel in the same slow, suffocating way they had done to me. The next morning, I sat across from a lawyer, stacks of property files and legal documents spread out like weapons. Evelyn's debts were deeper than she admitted, tucked neatly behind a curtain of arrogance. Clara's gambling was bleeding her dry, paid with money stolen from my parents' accounts. I didn't shout their sins into the world. I placed them carefully. One tip here, one file there. I mailed the recordings to the relatives who always doubted me. I slipped the truth into the hands of Clara's husband, the man who had no idea where their savings had gone. All I did was set the fire. They supplied the fuel. The collapse came faster than I imagined. Clara's husband walked out within weeks, children in tow. Evelyn tried to cover for her, moving money around, only to expose her own fraud. Soon the whispers spread, neighbors side-eyed them, families stopped returning calls. And no matter how many excuses Clara made, there was always one question she couldn't silence. "Why did you smash your niece's bike?" That hammer became her brand. A single act she could never erase. Months later, Clara showed up at my door, hollow-eyed and trembling. "You destroyed me," she rasped. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me so Emily wouldn't hear. I met her glare with calm. "No, Clara. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped cleaning up the wreckage." She opened her mouth, but no words came. For the first time in her life, she had nothing left to throw at me. Now Emily rides a new bike down the block, her laughter floating like sunlight through the air. Every pedal forward is proof that I chose differently. That I broke the cycle they tried to lock us into. When I think of that day, the hammer, their laughter, the venom, I don't feel rage anymore. I feel clarity. Because revenge wasn't about breaking something they loved. It was about stepping out of their shadow. About letting their own cruelty destroy them piece by piece. They wanted to teach me a lesson that day. And they did. But not the one they intended. The real lesson was the power of a single sentence. The one that ended their reign over me. You've just given me proof.